Hey everybody, welcome back. This is some messy sibling wedding drama. Too spicy not to share. All of these are from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. We are getting a little close to 100,000 members.
I'm so proud.
This post is from Over It Anon. Am I the a-hole for getting married before my soon-to-be sister-in-law? First, I just want to say I've been watching your crazy wedding stories for a while now and never dreamed I'd be posting. Love you, Charlotte. Love you too. Thank you for sharing. This situation has been weighing on me and I need an outside perspective. Well, only 2 of those knuckles cracked, but I'm ready. My husband, John, and I got married last year, and ever since, there's been tension with my soon-to-be sister-in-law, Danielle. Here's the backstory. Last Christmas, Danielle and Connor, John's brother, got engaged, but waited until New Year's Eve to announce it. I thought it was odd to hold off, but I was happy for them and excited to help with anything she might need. I really thought that we were becoming friends. You thought wrong! Fast forward to New Year's Eve, and I find out that John had told his parents he wanted to propose to me that night. Oh, so they wanted to announce the engagement, and your fiance wanted to propose to you. Okay. Apparently, his parents shared that with Connor and Danielle, who then decided to use the same occasion for their engagement announcement instead. When I found out, I was hurt, but I tried to let it go. John proposed a few months later, and we decided to elope on a beautiful mountaintop. I've never wanted a big wedding. I don't have a great relationship with my father, and we didn't want to step on Connor and Danielle's toes since their wedding was coming up. We even asked them if it would bother them if we got married before them, and they said it was completely fine as it was almost a year before theirs. Here's where things started getting weird, as they do. Danielle never congratulated me on our engagement, and she's been distant ever since she got engaged. I'm always of the opinion that if you don't congratulate someone on their engagement, you know, it's like a whatever, but it's also like not a whatever, you know? Like I like it, but I don't love it. I'm not gonna hate you outright, but I am gonna clock that. And I'm gonna be like, that's a bit weird. It's funny how you really do find out who your friends are when you get engaged and when you get married. Makes people crazy.
I was crazy once.
She didn't want help with any wedding planning and didn't include me or our other sister-in-law, John and Connor's sister, in anything. My husband is Connor's best man, but Danielle doesn't want him to give a speech or throw a bachelor party, even though she's going on a destination bachelorette trip. Okay. What the f? She's clearly harboring some sort of resentment toward you. Clearly. Why? I don't know. To make things worse, she's been bullying me online. She knows I've been struggling with postpartum depression and the loss of my grandmother, and after I went no contact with her, she started mailing things to our house only addressed to John and our kids, seemingly purposefully leaving me off. Most recently, she told my mother-in-law that my oldest son would be the ring bearer. She never discussed this with me and even previously told me she didn't want kids in the wedding because she thought it would be too much for me. Oh, weird. What's this problem? At this point, I'm wondering if this all stems from me and John getting married before them. Yeah, it does. Clearly, she feels some type of way about you. Am I the a-hole for not waiting longer, or is there something else going on here? You know, there could be something else going on, but it's like, I feel like she was also an a-hole for announcing her engagement, you know? Like, I feel like there was already a bit of beef there when you said that. Yeah, it's a bit weird. She clearly harbors some sort of animosity there. Maybe it's something as simple as she wanted to get married before you. She clearly wanted to get engaged before you, or to steal the spotlight, or so to speak, make it about her, etc., etc. And it's always weird with this type of conflict because, like, how do you like talk about this? You know, it's like,
are you unhappy that I got married before you?
I would say, like, don't get mad at her for that. Like, I would just say, I'm just feeling like a little bit left out with things. I was super supportive of your engagement. I was really willing to help with your wedding. And I just feel like very left out in some of your decisions that you're making. Is there anything going on that I'm unsure of? At the end of the day, people are responsible for telling other people that they're unhappy with them. If they don't tell you, it's none of your business. But it's also kind of embarrassing to admit how you would feel in a situation like this if you were like secretly jealous of someone or something. Since she's also excluding the sister of her future husband, okay, so there's a very, very good point. It's not just OP that's being excluded, it's also the sister of her future husband. I think she suffers from main character syndrome. You have zero responsibility for her behavior based on what you shared. And I know you want to be included in stuff like this. I don't know if I would want to be a bridesmaid or involved in someone's wedding like this. I think it's actually a good thing that you aren't involved because I feel like she'd be a big pain in the butt. What you and your husband need to do is sit down with those two and have a conversation. Start with the ring bearer thing. Yeah, because that's like a very obvious thing. You know, you can guess as to like her animosity toward you, but one thing that she did outright do without talking to you first is getting your son to be the ring bearer without asking you. She should not be discussing your child's participation without including you in the conversation. Very good point. Then find out why all the online hate. Don't put them on the defensive. Approach it as, we're family, so let's figure out what we can do to make our union better. You can't let this fester. OP responds, thank you for all of your advice and perspective. I've decided to take some of it and plan to have a sit down with Connor, Danielle, and the in-laws. I'll be sure to post an update sometime in mid-February. Ooh, goody. We do have an update. Hi, everyone. I wanted to give an update since a bit has happened since my original post, and I promised to update you all in February. So my husband, John, his brother, Connor, their grandfather, and father were supposed to meet up to pay for the suits for the wedding. It was all supposed to be a chance for the guys to talk without me or Danielle, my soon-to-be sister-in-law, around. But Connor just didn't show up. No call, no text, nothing. To top it off, the suits ended up being double the original price. Aggravating, but at this point, what can you do? As for my mother-in-law, even though I've already told her I'm not going to Danielle's bridal shower because of how I've been treated, she's now trying to guilt me into going by asking me to bring great-grandma to the shower. And I'm assuming you also have to bring a gift?
Gift? What gift?
My other sister-in-law is also being left out. Mother-in-law just texted her the dates she needs to request off for the wedding, which is on a holiday, without asking if she could even make it. Any of her questions about what to wear or other details have been completely ignored. And the kicker, my other sister-in-law just took her Christmas tree down this week, and guess what she found? Danielle had hidden an ornament on the tree that was clearly meant as a dig at both of us. Weird. Kind of like Danielle's doing a little bit of
voodoo against you.
I'm sure more drama is coming as the wedding gets closer, but I'm just over it at this point. Thanks for all the support and advice on my last post. It's really helped me navigate this mess. Me and sister-in-law are planning a day trip with the kids the day of the wedding. So are you the a-hole for getting married before your soon-to-be sister-in-law? Absolutely not. You're not the a-hole. It just really seems like this person has some secret animosity, both toward you and the other sister-in-law to be. You know when just hate you for no reason?
I hate you!
It's like, it doesn't matter how nice you are or how much you do for them or how generous you are, they'll still just hate you. Let them. We gotta start implementing the let them theory. Just let them. Honestly, like I can just tell by pretty much everything I do. Anything I do upsets her. I try to downplay good things that are going on in my life. She gets upset when my fiance is affectionate toward me, and she's upset about this because her significant other is not affectionate to her in public, and you will literally see her face change. Like she will look visibly upset. There will always be like a slight delay when I say like good news because she's just processing this in her head. And I've gotten to the point where I've started dimming my light and, self-deprecating and downplaying good things that happen in my life around her because I see how visibly upset she gets. Just because I exist. I can't help it that I'm fabulous. I'm funny. People like me for the most part. Okay, I can't help it. I'm getting to the point where I'm really tired of downplaying. Like, it's not like I'm trying to rub things in her face. And I've done so many nice things for this person. Like, you don't even know how much I've done for this person to prove my loyalty and prove my friendship. It doesn't matter what I do. They just don't like me. Or maybe they like me, but they resent me. Either way, it's not healthy for either of us. Let's stop pretending that we're besties or friends or whatever. If someone doesn't like you, just let them. Because it doesn't matter what you do. Someone can just hate you because you're a nice person and they're not. And it sounds like this person would probably be a nightmare to plan a wedding with. So consider yourself lucky. You're off the hook. Don't worry about it. Show up to the wedding. Smile, clap, fake a tear. Oh my God, so happy with you. Oh. That's it. It's all good. It'll be over before you know it. We just have a few comments that I want to go through. You should be petty and put lots of pictures on social media. The post should say something along the lines of spending the day with my kids and my favorite sister-in-law. Ooh, that's good. God. Oh, she'll love that. OP responds, they've been informed the kids are 100% not going to be at the wedding. Me and sister-in-law are going to take them on a fun day out the day of the wedding. Oh, so you're not going to the wedding? That totally went over my head. By saying that, you're saying you're not going to the wedding. Oh yeah, okay, no, I like that. I like that a lot. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize that that's what that meant. And it'll be up to her to explain, oh, so like, where are your sister-in-laws? And then she'll play the victim. You are? Not the a-hole, my dear. Am I the a-hole for helping my sister escape her wedding party? This post is from Live Dragonfly 2067. For purposes of this, all names are anonymous. Also, sorry, it's a long one. Never apologize. My 25 female sister, 21 female, we'll call her Poppy, and her now husband, 22 male, got eloped last year after the birth of my beautiful niece, 1. Now, Poppy has never wanted a big wedding, much to my family's dismay, as she's a very private person who likes her own space. Poppy and her now husband, we'll call him Daniel, got married with a few close friends around them. I wasn't in attendance due to having a child, and I don't drive. My grandmother and mother found out about it and were beyond pissed. They felt angry about not getting a say in Poppy's wedding and insisted that she throw a wedding party as she left them out of her wedding. For reference, they both knew that she was eloping. Does she like not have a good relationship with them or something? Because like, I do wonder why, listen, it's her choice, it's her wedding, she can have around her whoever she wants, but like, it's also, as a parent, if you did have a good relationship with your son or daughter, I would feel like a little weird about not being invited to the wedding. Like, I would feel a little some type of way. I'm just saying. Anyway, my sister was open to having a wedding party to celebrate, but insisted it be a small get-together and be budget friendly due to her finances. I was the main person planning it exactly to how she wanted it, and even paying for some of it to help her out. My grandmother found out I was planning it and demanded to be included, even though we asked both her and my mother multiple times to be involved. So we agreed. My sister wanted everything to be black and gold due to her dress being black. She looked stunning. My grandmother, however, insisted it be an extravagant party with traditional color schemes and berated my sister on her untraditional dress and theme. She wasn't even gonna have any sort of wedding party. You'll take what you can get, bestie. You'd be actually very surprised how common this is. Very, very surprised. This is where I might be an a-hole. Later on, I told my grandmother that if she can't align her opinions with what my sister wants, then she can't be involved with the planning. She got upset and angry, started screaming at me for not listening to reason, so she refused to help with the rest of the planning. Fine with me. That's what she wanted anyway. The day comes and I was at the venue for 4 hours setting up food and decorations with everything else until it was how we envisioned it. Once done, I went home to get ready. When I arrived back, however, I found all the decorations had been taken down and replaced with all white ones. The food had also been sealed from buffet food that my sister requested to a full banquet meal. It's actually shocking how mothers and grandmothers think that the wedding is like about them, you know? Like, it makes me wonder if there's some sort of like cultural significance there where like the mothers are supposed to be the ones that are like spearheading the planning process and paying for things and stuff. And they think that that means that they have the right to choose. I don't know. It's like, why is this so common? Just sit back, let somebody else plan the party for sakes. My sister then walks in and immediately gets upset as this wasn't what we discussed or talked about. To make things worse, my mother and grandmother arrive and start talking down to my sister, claiming she's shaming the family with her theme, and she'd already done enough by running off to get married. Dude, they guilt tripped her into having a wedding party. At least let her have the party she wants. My sister got upset and went to the bathroom, asking me that she no longer wanted to do this and didn't want the guests who were there to see her upset. So I snuck her out the back and went to tell Daniel that she was waiting for her, as she wasn't going to stick around. And then I announced it to the family, told them to enjoy the food and drink, and walked out of the venue. The whole day I was hounded for berating, for ruining the event, being called an a-hole for letting Poppy run off again, but honestly, I couldn't see her upset like that. So am I the a-hole? I mean, no. Like, she didn't even want to have this party to begin with. At least let her have it on her terms. It's one thing to be controlling over wedding specifics. It's another thing to berate the bride and say nasty things to her on a day that's supposed to be about her and her happiness. I would say a lot of family members tend to try and push you around. Let's just say that. But when it comes to the actual wedding day, if family members are not there for you and lifting you up, then they don't need to be there. Not the a-hole, you effing rock. Way to stand up for your sister. Yeah, I don't think you're the a-hole at all. I think that you're a hero. Especially in the eyes of your sister. Just because you're not bending to your mother and grandmother's will does not make you an a-hole. They might think you're an a-hole, and maybe you can just be okay with that. This whole respect your elders thing has just gone a little out of control. Like, respect your elders as long as the respect is mutual, you know? Like, there can be no respect for the elders if the elders are acting like friggin' jackass buttheads. Your family should be ashamed. It was her wedding, and since none of her requests were there, it was no longer her wedding, so she didn't need to stay. Very good point. Not the a-hole, they threw the party for themselves. It was literally just about them so that they could show off and tell the family and stuff like that. I totally agree. It wasn't about your sister. It was so they could show off and throw a party for their friends and their family. And they went against her wishes. That's how you can tell that it wasn't about celebrating your sister. It was about throwing their own event. It wasn't for her, so why does she need to be there? Did they just want her to sit there miserably the whole time? Ideally, yes. Or did they want her to sit there and pretend to enjoy the party? If they can't pretend to be happy for her party, why should she pretend to be happy for theirs? Why does their happiness have to be at her expense, especially at an event that's meant to celebrate her? Completely agree. Spectacular. Give me 14 of those responses right now. Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for yelling at my mother, sister, and father for a comment they made over my dress at a family wedding? This is so stupid. Thanks for sharing prestigious ticket 62. I, 41 female, have always been a chesty woman. Since I was 13, I've been a double D cup. PCOS will do that to you, and it comes with hormone changes, weight gain, rapid growth of facial hair during puberty. After discovering an ovarian cyst the size of a softball was removed, I went from being flat-chested to looking like an adult film star over a few months. I can't help it, I developed so quickly. Anyways, my mother and father thought they could try and hide it with turtlenecks and baggy clothes. It doesn't really matter what you wear when you are endowed like that. Ain't no hiding it. Where you would see teens wearing cute outfits, I looked like a wannabe nun, covered from head to toe to hide my body. Ugh. As I grew up, it got worse. I get asked to dances and my parents would buy me dresses that covered me from neck to toes. Why are they so ashamed of you? Like, that's just like the reality. I swear, my claustrophobia was at an all-time high living in that house. Because of this, I also developed depression. So at this point, I didn't care what I looked like and ate a lot to cope with everything that was going on in my life and mind. I gained weight, a lot of it. And of course, that was just another thing for my parents to complain about. Fast forward to now. I'm all grown up and living on my own. For the past 20 years, I've worked on myself and my mental health to the point that I lost 182 pounds. Whoa, bestie. Good for you. That is a lot. You lost a whole ass person off your body. Good for you. That's an amazing accomplishment. I know how hard it is. I think most of us can relate to how hard it is to lose weight. So the fact that you lost that much is like, you should be super proud of yourself. I went from a size 26 to a size 10 to 12, depending on the style of clothing, and got my hormones in check. Woo! Yes, queen, self-care. You think my family would be happy for me, right? Wrong. I got invited to my cousin's wedding a couple months ago. I went out and bought a dress for the occasion because why not? I never buy things for myself and I wanted to feel good on this day. I bought a beautiful blush pink dress with a sweetheart neckline. Ooh, yes! I can picture it now. And 2/3 sleeve with a lace overlay on top. It was the prettiest thing ever and only showed a little of my cleavage. As soon as I walk in the venue, my mother and father waved me over to their seats so I could sit with them. As soon as I sat down, my father decided it would be the perfect time to tell me, while I looked nice, it would be better if I cover up with a wrap or something. You should say, well, you'd look better if you put a bag on your head. You know how you'd look better? If you disappeared. Why are people just so like weird about stuff like this? Like, she can't help it. And it's also like, I think there's just like a little bit of jealousy, especially coming from women. But it's also just, why are you just so ashamed of what God gave your daughter? That's what she looks like. Get over it. I looked at my mother and she's clutching her imaginary pearls and instantly agreed with my father. Like me showing an inch or two of cleavage was the end of the world. I ignored them because I was raised better than to raise my voice in a church. After the ceremony, I walked away and didn't say a word. I congratulated my cousin and her husband on the way out, about to head to the reception. As soon as I get in the car with the love of my life, I hear the phone blowing up with texts. I glance at the screen and see both my father and mother and even my sister texting me options of wraps I could borrow for the reception. It's just so stupid. So dumb. When you started this with, this is so stupid, you were right. This is so stupid. Stop your sister and daughter. Like, fuck's sakes. Leave her alone. Stop looking at her. Stop Stop it! You weirdos! I sighed and said I don't need one because it's 84 degrees and I'm already sweating in what I have on. They all respond with, well, if you knew how to dress yourself, then we wouldn't have to help you. That's when I lost it. I texted back, you all realize I am 41 years old and I can dress myself, right? I know me being big-chested must be so bad for you, since I'm the one that has to live with them and has lived with them for over 20 years. This is my body and I will wear what I want, where I want. Stop trying to police my outfits. You and blamed me when I was heavier, and now that I feel good in my own skin, you want to tear me down more. I'm done and I will see you at the reception, and if any of you tries to cover me up to save face, I will not hesitate to cut you all off. I turned my phone off and had my boyfriend drive us to the reception. He was so proud of me for standing up to my parents and sister that we might have taken a detour to a secluded beach and made out for an hour. Ooh, I love this for you. You guys are hot. Anywho, once we got to the reception, my cousin and aunt pulled me aside and scolded me for sending my parents the message I sent. I explained to them they've been policing my clothes for decades and I'm done with it. I'm an adult and I can decide what's appropriate and what's not. My aunt understood, but my cousin said she isn't taking sides and wished I hadn't started drama on her day. I mean, she wouldn't have even known about it if your parents and sister hadn't said something to her. Why are they even telling anyone that? First of all, that's embarrassing for them, so they should zip it. Second of all, it's not the bride's problem. Stop telling her that. That's not your fault. I told my cousin if she was so concerned with drama, then maybe she needed to go talk to my parents and tell them to stop telling people how I upset them. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? These were in text, right? So you didn't really yell. You sent a text message. It would be one thing if you like made a scene at the wedding. It's another to like send a text message in private. If they didn't want an a-hole response, they shouldn't have been an a-hole to begin with. You did great. I'm a G-cup. People always want to judge you or shame you or leer at you. They're just breath people, not portals to the next dimension. That's so funny. Keep your nasty thoughts to yourself. I'm not responsible for them. Literally just existing. Can people like cool it? Because it's kind of creepy. Can you stop staring? Thanks. Not the a-hole. Look at them dead in the eye and ask, why have you been obsessed with your daughter's breasts for 25 years? Literally, that's what I'm saying. Why are you sexualizing your family member? Like, that is so weird. Stop looking. It's weird. Creep. Say literally nothing else, raising my voice each time they stopped. If people don't understand what causing a scene is, show them. It's gross they're doing this. It is. It's nasty. So are you the a-hole for yelling at your mother, father, and sister for a comment they made over your dress at a wedding? For real.